let's get on with it. Bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. Hello, another video for Kings of War, and this time we are talking about the Abyssal Dwarves. Now, the Abyssal Dwarves, at the basic core, they are still dwarves, so they're still bulky, they like a lot of firearms, and they're really tough. The differences between these and normal dwarves is that main one is alignment. These are evil, normal dwarves are good, and the dwarves like experimenting on themselves, other races that they enslave. They like a lot of slaves, by the way, and they are more inclined to serve the Abyss in any way, shape or form. Starting with, in the big book, on page 321, is the Army Special upgrade, and it is the Throwing Mastiff. Used to be called the Mutated Throwing Mastiff. This unit is equipped with a single-use ranged attack with the following profile. Throwing Mastiff, 12-inch range, 8 attacks, piercing 1. This attack always hits on a 4+. Once used, the unit's Throwing Mastiff is destroyed and cannot be used for the remainder of the game. Basically, they've got a dog, well, a Mastiff or a little Bulldog, whatever you want to use, and just chuck it to the enemy. Or I can imagine a little Bulldog, mutated one, grown wings and being pointed towards the enemy, and then it flying off. So the infantry then, on page 321. Starting with the Black Souls, speed 4, melee 4+, defense 5. Anything that seems dwarfy is usually moving on a 4, odd time on a 5, unless it's a chariot or something like that. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve, 10-12, 75 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve, 14-16, 115 points. Horde, 25 attacks, nerve, 21-23, 190 points. It's got vicious in melee. Most Abyssal Dwarf things have got vicious in one way, shape or form. Options: exchange shields for 2-handed weapons, lowering defense to 4 and gaining crushing strength 1 for free. Basically making them a bit weaker defensive wise, but making them a bit stronger offensive wise. And Throwing Mastiff for 15 points. Black Souls are your basic infantry, and for basic infantry they're not bad. The vicious means you get to reroll ones to wound, which isn't bad. Crushing strength if you need it, which is always good. Defense 5, again, always good. They're a good baseline infantry. Next we have the Immortal Guard, speed 4, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve, -13, 105 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve, -17, 160 points. Regeneration 5+, vicious in melee, and they could take a Throwing Mastiff for 15 points. These have a keyword called Hellforge. Keep that in mind for later because it will become important. The Immortal Guard are have really got a bit of a step up. Attacks wise perhaps not, but better nerve, and they can't be wavered, and they've got regeneration and they hit on 3s, which troop of these are 30 points more. A regiment of these are 45 points more, and I think they're worth it considering all the differences you get between the Immortal Guard and the Black Souls. If you want something a bit more durable, take the Immortal Guard. If you want something that can perhaps hit a bit more punchy, take the Black Souls. Until we got to the Abyssal Berserkers. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 3+. Troop, 12 attacks, nerve, -13, 105 points. Regiment, 15 attacks, nerve, -17, 165 points. They've got crushing strength 1, vicious in melee, and wild charge D3. The Black Souls are cheap infantry, but if you want to specialise a bit further, either the Immortal Guard or the Abyssal Berserkers. The Abyssal Berserkers are weak defensive wise, but offensive wise, I mean, I'd just go for a regiment. You've got 15 attacks with a nerve -17, charge range of 13 to 15, which for dwarves, hang on, no, charge range minimum of 11 to 13 because of the wild charge D3, which is pretty impressive, and they hit on 3s. If you want something a bit more durable and defensive wise, go for the Immortal Guard. If you want something really offensive, go for the Abyssal Berserkers. I don't know why the Abyssal Berserkers haven't got as many attacks as other Berserker type units, but they're pretty fast and they hit on 3s and got a crushing strength 1. Some Berserker units don't have crushing strength at all, but it is what it is. The heavy infantry then on page 321. The Slave Orcs, which are irregular. Speed 5, melee 5 plus, defense 4. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve 8, 10, 60 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve 12, 14, 95 points. Horde, 25 attacks, nerve 19, 21, 155 points. And they've got crushing strength 1. These are kind of cheap infantry. In fact, they're a bit cheaper than the Black Souls, but then again, their defense is not as good, and they can't hit anywhere near as much. But they do have a lot of attacks. Horde them out, 25 attacks, nerve of 19, 21, and crushing strength 1 for 155 points. That's still pretty decent. I wouldn't bother having them as troop. The nerve's just pitiful. A regiment, maybe. I mean, 95 points for a regiment with nerve it's a bit lower than the others, but because of how cheap they are, you can spam them really, really easily. A horde of them, maybe. Gargoyles then, which are also irregular. Speed 10, melee 4 plus, defense 3. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve 8, 10, 85 points. Fly, nimble, regeneration 4 plus. These are an harassment unit. Have them out flanking. That's the only way I can see them working. Maybe have them go towards objectives, and if your opponent's targeting them, then other stuff of yours can get the counter charges in, and maybe get some outflanking in as well. Other forces use gargoyles or something similar. I don't truly get them, but I think that's how I'd see them being worked. The ranged infantry then on page 322. There's only one. They are the Decimators. Speed 4, melee 4 plus, range 4 plus, and the ranged infantry then on page 322. There's only one, and they are the Decimators. Speed 4, melee 4, range 4, defense 4. All the 4s. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 115 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve 14, 16, 155 points. Horde, 25 attacks, nerve 21, 23, 260 points. They've got blunderbusses, which are 12-inch range, piercing 1, steady aim, and vicious at ranged. Option, regiment and hordes only. Gain the alternative single single-use ranged attack, mobile Kashushin, which is 24-inch range, 3 attacks, range 4 plus, blast D3, indirect, reload, vicious at range for 20 points. I don't feel it's worth it because, or is it? I suppose in certain circumstances, yes, because you're getting kind of a grenade launcher, I suppose. Minimum of 1 hit, maximum of 9. Hitting on 4s, 24-inch range. Maybe. The thing is, though, you can't shoot it within 12-inch range. That is the main problem with them. But you can move and shoot with it, even though you need 6s. You can still do it. I can see the point in taking it because it's got more range than the blunderbusses, but on the other hand, it's not as accurate, I don't think, when you're going to have to move about a bit. But the decimators aren't bad. They're hitting on 4s. Defense is 4, which is a bit better than most ranged infantry. Let's face it. But I'd probably stick the mobile Kashushin on a regiment. I won't bother with the horde because it's too expensive to do that to, making it nearly 300 points. Nah. The Swarm then, on page 322. The Mutated Mastiff Hunting Pack, which is a regular. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 2. 9 attacks, you can only take them as a regiment by the way. 9 attacks, nerve 10-12, 65 points. Crushing strength 1 versus cavalry only. Vicious in melee and can take a throwing mastiff for 15 points. How I see the throwing mastiff working in that is, one sprouted wings and become like the leader of the unit saying, I will go forth for all mutated kind. That's how I see it anyway. They're a cheap little unit. If you are facing armies like the Brotherhood and Basilian, basically if you're facing someone who's got a lot of cavalry in their forces, these ain't bad. Most swarms tend to have a lot of attacks instead of actual crushing strength power. These can, and they're hitting on 4s, which most swarms hitting on 5s. The downside is their defense is 2. But they are height 1, so you can hide them behind things, which will make a difference. Even though they've got 9 attacks, they're speed 6, so you could do maybe some outflanking manoeuvres with these pretty easily. So the cavalry then, on page 322. The Abyssal Half-Breeds first, speed 8, melee 3+, defense 4+. 8 attack, troop 8 attacks, nerve 11-13, 130 points. Regiment 16 attacks, nerve 14-16, 200 points. They've got crushing strength 1, regeneration 5+, thunderous charge 1, and vicious in melee. These ain't bad. They're I think a regiment's slightly expensive, only about 10 points expensive I'd say, because the nerve isn't brilliant. That is their biggest downside, I think. And the nerves, I mean, their defense is a bit low, but they hit on 3s, crushing strength 1, and they regenerate, which most cavalry does not have regenerate, which is a big bonus to them. So we've got the Slave Orc Gore Riders. They are irregular. Speed 8, melee 4+, defense 4+. Troop 8 attacks, nerve 9-11, 90 points. Regiment 16 attacks, nerve 12-14, 140 points. They've got crushing strength 1 and thunderous charge 1. These are kind of a cheaper alternative to the Abyssal Half-Breeds. They're not as expensive, but their stats are not as good. They hit on 4s. They've not got as good a nerve, and they can't regenerate. And they haven't got vicious either. They are what they are, and to be honest, they're not that much worse than normal Gore Riders, to be honest. The only difference is the nerve is a bit worse. But if you want some cheap cavalry that's good at outflanking manoeuvres, these are pretty good to take. Other than that, the Abyssal Half-Breeds have got a bit of staying power to them, so pick what you want. The Monstrous Infantry then, on page 203. The Monstrous Infantry then, on page 322. The Lesser Obsidian Golems. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 6+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve -14, 130 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve -17, 215 points. You've got crushing strength 2, shambling, vicious in melee. Upgrade with a Charnox, I think that's how you pronounce it. Gaining the range attack magma cannon, which is 12-inch range. 8 attacks, range. You get range stat 4+, piercing 1, steady aim for 30 points. Maybe they do that on a few. I wouldn't do that on too many, because 30 points is going to stack up really quickly. The Lesser Obsidian Golems is basically your Earth Elementals, essentially. They hit pretty hard, they've got good defense, they've got vicious, which always helps. They're fearless, so they can't be wavered. got pretty good attacks. Only downside is the shambling, so you can't move at double. Other than that though, they are pretty decent. The large cavalry then, on page 322. The Abyssal Grotesques. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve 13-15, 145 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve 16-18, 245 points. They've got brutal, crushing strength 1, regeneration 5+, thunderous charge 2, and vicious in melee. These are pretty decent. These are a bit faster than the lesser Obsidian Golems. They have better nerve, even though they're not fearless. They've got thunderous charge 2, and they can regenerate. So yeah, they've still got defense 5, which is still pretty decent. But the lesser Obsidian Golems have got crush strength 2 and defense 6. So points wise, the Abyssal Grotesque costs more. But see, this is the thing. You've got to compare one to the other because there's so many things that are similar. It's just this one does this bit a bit better, this one does this bit a bit better. You could have an whole lot. You could have, I don't know, an army containing half Golems, half Grotesques, and just work it out that way, I suppose. King Dwarves, the Abyssal Dwarves like to have war engines, and there are 4 of them on page 323. The Grog Mortar then, speed 4, range 5+, defense 5+. 2 attacks, nerve 10-12, 95 points. It's 48-inch range, blast D3+1, ignores cover, indirect, piercing 2, reload, vicious, ranged. It's pretty decent, it's pretty cheap as well, can't go wrong. Hits on 5s, which is its main downside, however. The next one is the Cachusian Rocket Launcher, speed 4, range 5+, defense 5+. 3 attacks, nerve 10-12, 85 points. It's 48-inch range, blast D3, ignores cover, indirect, piercing 1, reload, vicious in melee. So you can't, well, you can move and shoot with it, but you will be only getting 1 attack, which isn't worth doing. It's still cheap. It's got 1 more attack than the Grog Mortar, but its piercing's not as good, but it's only 10 points less. Either the Grog Mortar so far or the Cachusian Rocket Launcher, this is still pretty decent. The Angor Heavy Mortar, speed 4, range 5+, defense 5+. 2 attacks, nerve 10-12, 115 points. It's 48-inch range, blast D3+2, ignores cover, indirect, piercing 3, reload, shattering, vicious at range. Any of them 3 are pretty good options. The Angor Heavy Mortar is there if you've got some points left over and you were planning on taking a mortar or a rocket launcher. The Grog Mortar's got better piercing, and the blast has got a bit more on it. The Cachusian Rocket Launcher has got more attacks. The Angor Heavy Mortar has got the best piercing, the best blast and shattering, which is like brutal but for ranged. So any of them's pretty good. The last one, however, not so much. Dragonfire Team, speed 4, range 4+, defense 4+. 12 attacks, nerve 10-12, 85 points. It's got nimble. The Blackfire Gun, 12-inch range, steady aim, vicious in ranged. This is kind of pointless. The Decimators are 30 points more. You're getting a few less attacks, yes, but you're getting piercing 1 and the range stats if you want. You might as well go for the Decimators, because, or for the points cost, you might as well go for a Cachusian Rocket Launcher. It's the same points cost, and the Cachusian, it's got more range on it. That's the thing with the war machines. They need the range. The fire team's too short range, so when you charge it's just going to be dead. And with 12-inch range, there ain't much that can't charge it unless you're facing other dwarves. The Titans then on page 323. the Great Obsidian Golem. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 6+. 10 attacks, nerve -19, 235 points. It's got crushing strength 3, shambling, strider, vicious in melee. It's basically like a Great Earth Elemental, and I've said before I love Greater Earth Elementals because the model looks good. The model for this looks amazing. It basically does the same thing. It's not got brutal, but it has got vicious. So, excuse me, it does the same thing, so it's really good. Next one is the Hellfane. Speed 6, melee 3+, range 4+, defense 6+. 9 attacks, nerve -18, 280 points. Aura, brutal, dwarf only, so anything that's got dwarf in its keyword is affected by this, which is nice. You could use it on the Immortal Guard or the Abyssal Berserkers, be really good on them. Also on the, I suppose on the heroes wouldn't be a bad option. Crushing Strength 2, Strider, excuse me, Thunderous Charge 2 and Vicious. That's both at ranged and in close combat. Masterwork Pistols, 18-inch range, 5 attacks, piercing 1, steady aim. So it's just a bloke standing on top shooting his pistols, why not? Options, Hellforged Overmaster, you can only have one of these in your army. Gain Aura, Wild Charge 2, infantry only, and Inspiring for 25 points. It might be worth taking that for one of them because Wild Charge +2, applying that to the Abyssal Berserkers, you are getting Wild Charge D3 +2. So minimum charge range on them would be 13-inch to 15-inch. And for infantry, especially dwarf infantry, that is ridiculous. The Aura Brutal, again for the dwarf Abyssal Berserkers, it's a ridiculously powerful ability. The model which Mantic are bringing out, basically think of kind of a rhino or that sort of animal, but made of stone or obsidian, kind of like the obsidian golems. But the size of the steel behemoth of the normal dwarves. Maybe a bit bigger actually. Yeah, it probably is a bit bigger, but it's actually got a giant throne on it with someone standing on the top of it shooting. That's kind of what you're getting. Both of these are good. The Hellfane is more of a support option, but it's a bit more accurate at close combat. It's got a bit of range if you need it. Its nerve is slightly less, its attacks are slightly less, its crushing strength is slightly less. It's not got shambling, so it can move at the double if you want. Also can inspire if you want. Either's a good option. Either's a good option. We have the heroes on page. We have the heroes starting on page 324. Starting with the Slave Driver, who is a hero infantry. Speed 4, melee 4+, defense 5. 1 attack, nerve 10-12, 55 points. Individual, inspiring, rally 1, slave only, vicious in melee. Unless you're taking a load of slave units, I would not bother with him. He's basically like your army standard bearer, but just for slave units, so nah. Next one is the Infernox, large infantry hero. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 6+. 6 attacks, nerve -13, 140 points. Brutal, crushing strength 2, nimble, thunderous charge 1, vicious in melee, and wild charge D3. It feels like it's a hero version of the Obsidian Golems, because defense is 6, you've got good crushing strength, but the thing is it's got thunderous charge and it's got wild charge. Is it like an Obsidian Golem working on leg day? Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? The Overmaster then. Speed 4, melee 3+, defense 6+. 5 attacks, nerve 13-15, 105 points. Crushing strength 2, individual, crushing strength 1, individual, inspiring, mighty, vicious in melee. Options: Infernal Advance, you can only have one of these in your army. Gain Aura, Strider Infantry only for 20 points. This unique upgrade cannot be taken in addition with a magical artifact. It's a slightly expensive road bump. Probably make it 100 points, I would. Because it's mighty, your opponent's going to have to charge it instead of just going through onto whatever they want to charge. Other than that, I won't bother. The Hexcaster then is a heavy infantry hero, spellcaster rank 1, speed 5, melee 4+, defense 5+, 1 attack, nerve dash 11, 70 points. Individual. Feedback: after rolling to hit with hex or weakness, roll to damage for each hit scored with the piercing 1 rule. Not bad. Dampening runes: enemy spells targeting this unit always hit on a 6+. Pretty good. It's got hex 3 for free, and you can take weakness 3 for 20 points, or free if it replaces hex. Either's not a bad option. I take it if your opponent's taking a lot of spellcastery type units. Other than that, it's not bad for a support option. It's not bad for a support option, I guess. The Ironcaster is a hero infantry spellcaster rank 2. Speed 4, melee 4+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve 11, 13, 110 points. Individual, inspiring, Hellforged only. That's what, if you remembered when talking about the infantry, there was something important about that. Argulf's Flame: whenever this unit rolls to damage with Fireball, it can reroll all dice that score a natural unmodified 1. Not bad. Spells: Fireball 10, heal 3, only on Hellforged only. Options: Bane Chant 2 for 20 points, Lightning Bolt 3 for 20 points, Mind Fog 2 for 15 points, Surge 8 for 30 points, or free if it replaces Fireball. This is rather interesting because the heal unfortunately only works on Hellforge units. However, there are quite a few. You've got the Hexcaster and the Infernox, and the Supreme Ironcaster on Great Winged Half-Breed that works on. You've also got the Obsidian Golems in both lesser and greater variant. You've also got all the War Engines. You've got the Hellfane. You've also got the Immortal Guard, which are Hellforged as well, so it works on them, which is great. Surge works on any Obsidian Golems, which isn't bad. If you want a better movement option for your Obsidians, take this. Spell wise, Bane Chant, Mind Fog or Surge is really the best ones. Lightning Bolt 3 is a bit naff because it's only not Lightning Bolt 3. If you're getting towards Lightning Bolt 5 or 6, then not too bad. Lightning Bolt 3 just seems a bit meh. Taskmaster on Chariot. Speed 8, melee 4+, defense 4+. 5 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 110 points. It's a hero chariot. Inspiring, nimble, thunderous charge 2, vicious in melee. Rally 1, slave only for 15 points. Inspires everyone, so not too bad. Thunderous charge 2, pretty decent. It works best if you're taking a load of slave units. It's 65. It's 55 points more than the slave driver. So you could take 2 slave drivers, but let's face it, this will survive a bit more. So I'd take this if you're going to slave units. Honestly, I probably wouldn't bother taking it normally because it's so hit and miss, but for slave units it's probably worth it. Next we have the Abyssal Half-Breed Champion. It's a hero cavalry. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. 6 attacks, not 8. Nerve 12, 14, 145 points. Crushing Strength 2, individual, inspiring, abomination only. Mighty, regeneration 5+, vicious in melee. So its inspiring affects things like the grotesque champions, the grotesques, the winged half-breeds, the well, all the half-breeds. The mutated Mastiff Hunting Pack, yes, it affects that. I think that's all it really affects. So yeah, you can combo into that. It's actually not a bad hero. 145 points, 6 attacks, 12 on charge, crushing strength 2, regeneration 5+. It's not bad. It's not bad. No, wait a minute. No, it doesn't get 12 attacks on the char on flank because it's an individual. No. 6 attacks, and it is mighty, so it is a road bump. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad still. Next we have the Abyssal Dwarves champion hero, large cavalry. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. Attacks 5, nerve 12-14, 140 points. Brutal, crushing strength 2, nimble, regeneration, thunderous charge 1, and vicious in melee. I'd probably take that a bit more over the half-breed champion. Reason being is that it's got thunderous charge, and because it's a large cavalry hero, you can get outflanking bonuses. The Abyssal half-breed champion, you cannot. It's just a road hump, unfortunately. Carrying on, we've got the Overmaster on Ancient Winged Half-breed. Speed 10, melee 3+, defense 5+. 9 attacks, nerve 17-19, 300 points. It ain't cheap. Crushing strength 3, fly, inspiring, nimble, regeneration 5+, vicious in melee. It is a Titan hero. I mean, yeah, anything dragon-wise, if you can fit it into your army, go ahead. Because it's a hero Titan, you can give it a magical artifact. So maybe something that, I don't know, re-rolling it or wound or something around that sort of thing. Probably is your best bet, I would say. I'm sure there's a few other things you can take, but I'd probably go with them if you want. Saying that though, you've got vicious in melee, so you're already re-rolling 1s. 9 attacks, hitting on 3s, crushing strength 3, and it's inspiring and it can fly. It's all good. Finally then, the Supreme Halfcaster on Great Winged Halfbreed. It's a Titan hero, spellcaster rank 3. Speed 10, melee 4+, defense 5+. 8 attacks, nerve 16-18, 280 points. Slightly cheaper than the Overmaster. Crushing strength 3, fly, inspiring, nimble, vicious in melee. Argle Flame. Whenever this unit rolls to damage with Fireball, it can reroll all dice that score a natural unmodified 1. Pretty good. And it's got Fireball 12, and it can take heal 4 for only on Hellforged only for 15 points. Lightning Bolt 5 for 25 points. Surge 8 for 20 points. Yes, it doesn't hit on 3, sorry, like the Overmaster does. It's got 1 less attack, and its nerve is 1 less each round. It's 20 points less, which you could spend on a heal or surge. I'd probably go for the Supreme Ironcaster because you're high up, so you can cast spells willy-nilly. You've got Fireball 12, so chances are a fair few will hit. You've got heal on Hellforge units. So remember what I was saying on the normal Ironcaster variant. It's the same, only slightly better healing. You've got Surge 8, so because it's so high up, you will definitely be able to surge with it. For me, it's slightly better because of so many options you can do with this over the Overmaster. And we have the unique units on page 300. Finally then, we have the unique units on page 325. Starting with Baraka Barca. He's a cavalry hero. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. 6 attacks, nerve 14-16, 200 points. Crushing strength 3, individual, mighty, regeneration 5+, vicious in melee. Baradoom. Due to his ear-shattering battle cry, Baraka. His name's so so annoying. Has both very inspiring and dread, which is pretty decent. Because he's got mighty, he's a road hump. The thing is, if you charge him and you don't kill him, he's going to move back a bit. Maybe turn around and move around you. Maybe not to charge you, but that dread thing is really going to hurt you. That is the problem. 6 attacks, crushing strength 3, hitting on 3 is... He's going to be a bit of a problem for people. The downside is his 200 points, which his nerve is alright. And it's the 6 attacks. If it was maybe 8 attacks, maybe. But 6 attacks, it's still not bad, but for 200 points, it does sting a little bit. Abyssal the Vile is a heavy infantry hero. Speed 10, melee 3+, defense 5+, 7 attacks, nerve 14-16, 210 points. Crushing strength 2, fly, individual, inspiring gargoyles only, mighty, regeneration 5+. It is alright, I guess. 7 attacks, hitting on 3s with crushing strength 2, meaning he is going to cause a fair bit of damage and going to be annoying because he can fly. To get the most out of him, you need a fair few gargoyles. The problem is, gargoyles are very pointless from what I can tell. I suppose gargoyles have the speed that a lot of the Abyssal Dwarf stuff lacks. But then again, you are getting half-breeds, slave or gore riders, and Abyssal grotesques, which kind of make up the speed options. Yes, grotesques can fly and they've got regeneration 5, but you can only take a troop of them, so they ain't going to last too long. They are all about compensating, as it were. Their shooting isn't as good as normal dwarves in what ranged infantry do, but they make up for it for having a lot of crushing monsters. You've got the Obsidian Golems, they've got the grotesques, you've got the half-breeds. You've also got a really nice synergy of different playstyles you want to do. Do you want to go for the abomination route and take grotesques, half-breeds, that sort of thing? You can do an army of that. Do you want to take an army of Hellforge stuff? You can do that. So you take the Immortal Guard, you take the Golems of either the lesser or greater variant. You take Health Thanes, a load of War Engines, and you take things like the Ironcasters and Supreme Ironcasters. That's kind of where you want to go for that. Do you want to do a Slave Abyssal Dwarf army? You can do that as well. You've got the Slave Orcs, you've got the Slave Orc Gore Riders, you've got the Slave Driver, you've got the Taskmaster on Chariot. So you've got a fair few options that way. Everything else is still pretty good though. Remember, they're still dwarves, so they've got good defense, and when they've got units that can hit things, they hit things really tough. The main weakness, obviously, because they're dwarves, their speed is a bit low. But obviously because they've got the half-breeds, the Gore Riders, sorry, and similar sort of things, that speed is kind of mitigated. So it's a case of, it's a kind of more of a synergy force than a lot of other forces, whereas the speed is low but they hit hard. Use other stuff to help along with that. So I don't know, say your Immortal Guard charges forward, have your Gore Riders charging on the flank, that sort of thing. They are a pretty decent army, and this year, 2020, they are getting some updated models, and now I've said that, that's going to date this video so badly. So, that's it for now. Goodbye.